Unit 4. Tape script 4.1. 1.
Oh dear. It's not that I dislike him. I just don't love him. How can I tell him I don't want to marry him without hurting his feelings? Trouble is, I actually fancy his best friend.
2.
There's this group of lads, you see. They're always chasing me, and I don't think it's for fun. But I can't tell my mum and dad. If they find out, they'll go to the head teacher and complain, and that would make everything much worse.
3.
How do you tell someone when they look awful? That dress doesn't suit her at all, but I don't know how to tell her. She obviously thinks she looks great in it.
4.
Me and Emma are going clubbing, but I daren't tell my dad. He'd kill me. I've got an important exam next week and I haven't done a thing for it. I haven't a clue when I'll be back.
5.
I know I'm not really ill, but it's a beautiful day, and I don't want to sit in a stuffy office all day. I'm off to play golf. I never have days off usually.
6.
I don't care who it is. I had a late night and I feel really rough this morning. I don't want to be disturbed by anybody at the moment, even if it is urgent. Oh.
Tape script 4.2. 1.
Don't you like pizza?
I can't stand it. I know most people love it, but I don't.
2.
Haven't we met somewhere before?
Yes, I think we have. Wasn't it at Maria's party?
Tape script 4.3. 1.
Don't you like ice cream?
I do, but I'm on a diet.
2.
Haven't you got a mobile phone?
Of course I have. Doesn't everyone have one?
3.
Can't you swim?
No, I can't. I've always been afraid of water.
4.
Isn't it your birthday today?
Yes, it is. I try to keep it quiet these days.
5.
Didn't you work in New York for a while?
Yes, I did. It was a great couple of years.
6.
Don't you live in Baker Street?
No, we used to, but we moved just round the corner last year.
Tape script 4.4. Part 1.
My mate Milton is a funny guy. He's an insomniac, he's dyslexic, and he's an atheist. He's single, unemployed, and lives all alone in a tiny one-roomed flat without even a pet for company. Also, he's vegetarian and teetotal. He's pretty antisocial, actually.
Tape script 4.5.
Why can't he sleep?
How come he can't sleep? Why did he lose his job?
How come he lost his job? He loved his work.
Tape script 4.6. Part 2.
I went round to see Milton last Sunday. As I walked up the drive, his dog started barking. His wife answered the door and she called for Milton to come downstairs and join us in the living room. He was in a bad mood because he had overslept that morning and had been late for church. He also had a bit of a hangover, which he told me was the result of a wild party that they'd had at his house the night before. They'd had a barbecue in the garden with steaks and burgers. One of his favourite pastimes is doing crosswords, and he spends every lunch break at work doing them. "So, how are you, Milton?" I asked him. KO, mate, KO. How about you? Anyway, as I said, Milton's an insomniac, dyslexic atheist. So the joke is that he lies awake all night wondering about the existence of dog. Get it?
Tape script 4.7. 1,
Who did she give it to?
2,
What do you want to have a word about?
3,
Who did you dance with?
4,
Where do you want to lift to?
5,
Who did you get it from?
6,
Who did you buy it for?
7,
What are you thinking about?
8,
What do you need it for?
Tape script 4.8. Secrets and lies.
Now it's that time again in the show when we hear your guiltiest secrets and your most terrible lies. Yes, it's confessions time. Be prepared for astonishing admissions before you decide who can be forgiven. Our first caller is Robert from Surrey. Time to get your secret off your chest, Robert.
Well, Simon, I'm ashamed to say, but during my final year at school, it was an all-boys school, and it was a long time ago.
Right.
We had to take lots of exams to get what was then called the school certificate.
Mm-hmm.
Our form teacher, he was a miserable man, called Mr. Roper, was also our history teacher, and in those days, the teachers set our final exam papers. Now, Mr. Roper was never the most encouraging of teachers. Well, he often told us that we were no good, and we would never pass the certificate. Anyway,
Okay.
one day, just before our exams, he excused himself from our history class, and unusually for him, he didn't lock his desk. So, with my fellow classmates watching intently, I took it upon myself to go to the front of the class and look inside his desk. There, like glistening treasure, was our exam paper. Keeping an eye on the classroom door, I read out all the questions to my eager audience. I had never known them so silent or attentive. I then quickly replaced the paper and returned to my seat. Mr. Roper came back into the classroom to find the whole class looking quietly studious. Well, you can imagine, the result was that everybody passed the exam.
Of course.
The school had never known such splendid results, and Mr. Roper was complimented on the high quality of his teaching. I ask forgiveness, please, for putting 30 students out into the world in possession of the school certificate, which they did not deserve. However, some of them did go on to become captains of industry and have careers as MPs and judges. I mean...
Oh, Robert, that was a naughty thing to do, but we've all been tempted when it comes to exams. Now, on to Kevin from London.
Yeah, all right, Simon. Now, I'm a big Spurs fan, and a few years ago found myself in the awkward situation of marrying into a family of die-hard Chelsea supporters. One Saturday afternoon, I was at home relaxing, watching the football results, while my then 4-year-old daughter was at the other end of the sofa colouring in.
Mm-hmm.
She suddenly looked up at me and asked, "Daddy, what football team do you support?" I told her Tottenham Hotspur, and her next words made my blood run cold. "Really? I support Chelsea."
No.
I was horrified. The thought of my darling daughter becoming a Chelsea fan was just too much. So, without really thinking, I replied, Well, that's a shame, because Father Christmas does not visit children who support Chelsea. My daughter looked at me in horror, and I realised the full weight of the statement I'd just made. The natural thing to do at this point would have been to give her a hug and tell her that Daddy was only joking. But instead, I gave her a hug and told her not to worry, as all she needed to do was to become a Spurs fan, and I would ring Father Christmas and she'd be back on his list. Now, I would like to beg forgiveness from my lovely daughter for any sleepless nights I may have caused her.
Feel better now, Kevin? I really hope your little girl isn't scarred for life. So, moving on to the ladies. Surely they can't have such a shocking secret. Let's hear from Jane and find out. Jane from York.
When I was 15, I tried to earn a bit of extra money by waitressing at a local restaurant.
Right.
This restaurant was very famous for an incredible fish soup, which was served with secret ingredients. I'd been given a little to try once, and it really was delicious. One night, when a table ordered the special dish, I was called by the chef to collect it from the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it smelt absolutely fantastic, and my mouth started watering. Between the kitchen and the restaurant, there was a small corridor, not visible from the kitchen or the dining area. The temptation was too great. I balanced the heavy soup dish in one hand, lifted the spoon with the other, and poured the soup into my mouth. What I hadn't considered was that the soup would be scalding hot.
Ow.
There I was in the corridor, unable to scream or make any noise. The boiling liquid began peeling the skin away from the roof of my mouth, and I was in agony. Terrified that the chef's wife would catch me, I did the only thing I could. I spat the soup back into the dish. Then I heard footsteps from the kitchen. There was no other option. I put my shoulders back, walked confidently out into the restaurant, and started to serve the soup to the poor unsuspecting diners who had no idea that there was a little extra ingredient amongst the mussels and monkfish. I asked forgiveness for my dreadful deed. I learned my lesson and never did it again.
All I can say to you, Jane, is remind me never, ever to order the soup when I'm in York. And our final caller is Maggie from Wales. What, dear Maggie, is your guilty secret?
Hello there. When I was an au pair working in France, I used to travel across by coach and ferry. It was quite a long and difficult journey, and I preferred to travel at night in the hope of sleeping most of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I was lucky enough to sit next to someone who, like me, just wanted to get some shut-eye. But on one particular occasion, I found myself squashed into a corner by a large, smelly, chatty man.
Lovely.
I politely engaged in conversation, hoping that he would eventually give up, but he didn't. Finally, between Calais and Paris, the coach made a pit stop, and many of the passengers got off to stretch their legs.
Right.
After walking around for 10 minutes, I got back on the coach. There was no sign of my neighbour. The driver asked if everyone was back on board, but I couldn't speak. Perhaps it was the prospect of some much-needed peace and quiet, but I said nothing. Maybe he'd only been going this far anyway. Then I looked out of the window and saw the man running across the car park, waving frantically as we drove off into the night.
No.
I never even attempted to get the driver to stop. Oh, I couldn't think of a good reason why I hadn't noticed the man was missing in the first place. So when I got off the coach in the cold light of dawn, I disappeared before the driver realised that the man wasn't there. I now meekly seek forgiveness for leaving a poor man stranded in a foreign motorway service station in the dead of night. I've I've been haunted by the vision of him running after us ever since.
So, there you have it, dear listeners. Today's 4 fibbers and wrongdoers. Who, if anyone, can we forgive?
Tape script 4.9. 1.
Gary's a really successful businessman.
Yeah, but he's a complete failure as a family man. He never sees his children.
2.
My granddad's so generous. He gives me a £20 note every time I see him.
Lucky you. My granddad's famed for his meanness. A £5 every birthday, if he remembers.
3.
Well, Henry, I'm pleased there's been some improvement in your behaviour this term, but unfortunately your work has got worse.
Didn't I do okay in the test then?
4.
You're not going bungee jumping. It sounds really dangerous.
No, honestly, it's safe enough as long as you're careful.
5.
Our teacher is always criticising us. I feel useless.
I know. It's not fair. He should give us more encouragement if he wants us to work hard.
Tape script 4.10. 1.
What a boring party.
You're right. It wasn't exactly an exciting evening.
2.
I don't know about you, but I thought the holiday was awful.
Well, it wasn't the most fun I've had.
3.
I can't believe how mean Jane is.
I suppose she's not famous for her generosity.
4.
How can you support Alchester United? They're a hopeless football team.
Well, they're not the most talented around, that's for sure.
Tape script 4.11. 1.
I'm sorry to bother you, but could you possibly change a £10 note?
Have you got change for a £10 note?
2.
Where's the station?
Could you tell me where the station is, please?
Tape script 4.12. 1.
This is a present for you.
For me? Oh, how kind. You shouldn't have, really. Thank you so much.
This is a present for you.
Thanks.
2.
Can you come to a party on Saturday?
No, I can't.
Can you come to a party on Saturday?
Oh, what a pity. I'm already going out, I'm afraid.
Oh, never mind.
Thanks for the invitation.
3.
Excuse me, do you mind if I sit down here?
No, not at all.
Is anyone sitting here?
No.
4.
Can you give me a hand? I need to carry this box upstairs.
OK, if you like.
I wonder if I could possibly ask you a favour. Would you mind helping me with this box?
No, not at all.
5.
So I said, well, if that's your attitude, then...
Pardon? I couldn't catch that. What did you say?
So I said that I was going...
What? Speak up!
6.
Goodbye. Thanks for a lovely evening. We had a great time.
We enjoyed it too. So glad you could make it. Safe journey back. See you soon.
Bye. Thanks again. You must come to us next time.
We'd love to. Good night. Take care.
Goodbye. Thanks for the meal.
Bye. See you whenever.
Tape script 4.13. 1.
Do you think you could give me a lift to the station?
I'm terribly sorry. I can't. I have to be at work by 8:30. I'll order you a taxi, though.
2.
Could you possibly help me find my glasses? I can't find them anywhere.
Sorry. I'm afraid I have to dash or I'll miss the bus. I'm hopeless at finding things anyway.
3.
Hi, listen, would you like to come round for a meal tomorrow evening? I'm cooking Chinese.
Oh, I'd love to, but I'm afraid I'm already going out.
Oh, what a shame. Another time, perhaps.
4.
Would you mind lending me your dictionary?
I would if I could, but I'm afraid I forgot to bring it with me today. Sorry.
5.
Hi, it's Susan here. Could I ask you a big favour? I wonder if you could look after my dog next week. I'm going on holiday.
I'm terribly sorry, Susan, but I can't. I'd love to have Molly. You know I adore dogs, but I'm going away myself for a few days.
6.
Do you happen to know where the toilet is?
Sorry, I'm afraid I've no idea. Ask the guy serving drinks. He'll know.
7.
Would you like me to help you with this exercise? I think I know the answers.
Oh, that's really kind of you, but I want to try and work it out for myself. Thanks anyway.
Tape script 4.14.
Luciana, hello. Great to see you. Come on in. Let me take your coat.
Thanks so much. Oh, these are for you. Oh, what lovely flowers. How kind of you. Thank you so much.
Now, I don't think you know Henry. Let me introduce you. Henry, this is Luciana.
Hello, Luciana. Nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you.
Oh, I hope it was all good.
Where exactly are you from, Luciana?
Well, I'm Argentinian. I was born in Buenos Aires, but I've been working in the US for the last couple of years.
That's interesting. And what are you doing in London?
Oh, work, I'm afraid. Actually, I'm on my way to Amsterdam for a conference, and I thought I'd stop over in London to see Anna and Ben. We used to work together in New York.
Oh. And how do you find London, Luciana? Is it like home, or is it very different?
Well, it is very different from Buenos Aires and New York. I know London quite well, actually. I always love it here.
Now, Luciana, what would you like to drink?
Oh, have you got a beer? Oh, no, sorry. I'll have a glass of white wine, if that's okay.
Right. I'll just get that for you.
Thanks.
Right, everybody. Dinner's ready. Come and sit down. Luciana, can you sit next to Henry?
Yes, of course.
Has everyone got a drink? Great. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. It's great to be here.
Luciana, help yourself. Would you like some cheesy parsnips?
Cheesy parsnips? I don't think I've ever heard of them. What are they?
Well, they're parsnips coated in Parmesan cheese and roasted. Would you like to try some?
Well, I'd love to, but I'd better not. Cheese doesn't always agree with me.
Another glass of wine, perhaps?
No, thanks very much. I've still got some. But do you think I could have a glass of water?
Yes, of course. Sparkling or still?
Just tap water will do. That's great. Thanks a lot.
Well, bon appetit, everyone.